there. And they determine at that point, do I need to go to Aquin, or do I need to go to PowerPay? Do I need to go to Synchrony, Wells Fargo? Where am I going? What's that?
You got the old Green Sky in there too somewhere. So no, there's so many different options, and that's the kicker. Like, a sales rep isn't going to be really well versed in knowing where this customer needs to go. And if you're serious about it, I think that you got to find someone that's really well versed in finance. And I think that equates to a lot more success, a lot more approvals, and a lot of happier customers, because that got handled the right way. And I think there's also, I'm sure, a lot of some sort of red tape there where you got to really be careful with customers' information, the sensitivity of it all. There's some other things that you got to make sure you're prepared for. But if you can do this, if you can conquer the finance beast, make it so easy for people to buy a roof, because that's the whole goal, right? The whole goal is to make it easier for them to spend their money. You win, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, whoever makes it the easiest is going to be the one to win it, to win the whole deal, and to take the market share.
I've got a client, and when someone gets turned down, it immediately gets kicked over to it's actually his daughter in the office, and she takes that, runs it straight through Aquin, which is a very BC type company, runs it straight into Aquin. Now there's some extra steps, with Aquin, but they're going to buy down to, I want to say they buy down to like 550. So, I mean, it's, granted, it's not going to be a good interest rate. And I have people tell me they're never going to get they're not going to buy this interest rate. I'm like, they understand where their credit is. They're probably jumping for joy that someone said yes.
Right. That's the kicker is, everyone goes into those deals with so many preconceptions. I think preconceptions kill so many deals. Not offering situations, going in there and just reading off of a script, or assuming that what that customer wants the best, and not so declining to give them options. I think that that's a huge mistake that our industry does. Do you agree?
Yes.
And so how do we overcome this? Like, where does the retraining really start?
The retraining starts with the sales manager himself. I mean, he has to buy into it first. He has to learn it. He has to know it backwards and forwards so that he can pass that to his team. Every time that there is a system that is put into place inside of a company, and I always, whenever something doesn't work, I'll go to the sales manager and I'll start to talk to him. And what you're finding out is he doesn't buy into it, or she, whatever. So once they don't buy into it, nobody else will either.
Yeah, that's dangerous for a company. And I think there's a lot of people in those positions that aren't buying into certain things for a lot of times it's fear. I think it's, not understanding it enough. And so they shy away because they're scared of, not knowing it well enough, or it's intimidating, whatever the case may be. And do you think that people like that get held onto longer than they should?
I absolutely. And one of the topics that I speak on is on sales management. And I'll let you know that most of the sales managers that I come in contact with, unfortunately, they shouldn't be there. They were top salesmen, and so a lot of owners think that that's the natural progression. That he's the top salesman, everybody's going to look up to him. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make this guy my sales manager. And what you find a lot of times is this top salesman is a natural born sales talent, meaning he just learned it growing up. And the worst person you can ever have inside of sales management is someone that is a natural at sales, because they don't know how. They don't know how they got so good. They don't know how to teach it. So, but someone that got there, they're really, really good at what they're doing, and they had to get there through training and systems. Those are the people that buy into it. They're going to train it. They're going to make sure that their people master it. Those are the good sales managers.
Plus, why would you want to take your best sales rep and take them out of a position of sales and put them in a sales management position?
John, I'm going to tell you that what happens most is that top sales guy, he's like, look, I've paid all my dues. He might be getting older. And so he thinks that, I've been out there, I've been busting my tail, and it's just my time to go put my feet up on the desk. And that's the problem, where people think that I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to be a sales manager because I've watched other salesmen or sales managers, and they put their feet up on the desk. They just sit in the office all day. Take the sales manager's office away from them. I mean, the sales manager needs to be working harder than the salesmen themselves. I mean, when I'm a sales manager, you can ask my wife, I mean, all through dinner, I'm picking up the phone. I'm getting manager approvals and everything else. I want to have control of my sales team. By the end of the night, I know exactly what was sold, what our closing rate was, what all the excuses were for why we couldn't sell certain jobs, whatever it was, so that I can go into the next day knowing exactly what we need to do so I can hit my goals again. That's a sales manager.
Wow.
You have a sales manager that says, you know what, hey guys, it's 6 o'clock. Don't call me afterwards. It's time. He needs to go back to get back to sales.
Oof, dang, that's some good stuff. And you know what? You're absolutely right. There was a show on Netflix. People that come to my class, they always say, man, John, you really reference a lot of TV shows. I know, but hey, so there was a show. It wasn't on Netflix. It was on, I think I owned it like on iTunes, you know, like whatever. So it was about a car dealership in Vegas. And these dudes were out selling cars. They're like the top producing Dodge dealership in like the mid 2000s, and they were insane. And you see those guys, the sales managers are always there working that sales desk up until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. They work the hardest. And it's true, man. That's why that dealership was able to sell the amount of cars that they would sell month in and month out. I mean, they're like 50, 60, 70 cars every day going down to that place. And it was, you know, in our world, we think, oh, that's impossible. That's never going to happen. But yet last week we had Hunter Ballou with us, who his team sold 90, during the show, he said 97. After the show, he texted me, he said, John, we actually sold 100 and some roofs today in one day. Okay. How does that happen in the world that we live in? You know, we don't think that's possible, but it's because of a really well-managed staff, really well-managed people that understand they had goals. They achieve those goals. That's what their goal is every day. That's what they're trying to do. And you're right. The management part of it has to be right. And taking that sales rep I think that's the biggest mistake contractors make, is making someone that shouldn't be a manager a manager.
That's right. I'm telling you, managers, I mean, I like to call them leaders more than anything. I mean, coaches. I just interviewed someone over the phone that I'm trying to hire some sales reps into a client of mine. And I told him, I says, my job is to make sure that over the next 12 months that you get $100,000 to put in your pocket. I mean, that is my job. You know, it's not my job to make sure you come to work every day and work real hard. I mean, that's up to you. But my job is to make sure that you have what it takes to make $100,000. Now, this kid, I mean, he's an 18-year-old coming out of like 84 lumber. I mean, so he's making 30-some thousand dollars, and here I'm talking about 6 figures. He just can't even fathom what I'm talking about. But he does know that it's my job to make him a wealthy dude.
That's cool, though. And that's what it's got to be. Chuck, thank you so much for being on here today, man. I know you're about to hop over and do the Revolt call after this.
No problem, man. I love it, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this knowledge just with the general Revolution listeners. You know, everyone that's watching, anyone that's wanting to be a part of this can be a part of it. But you're about to hop on the Revolt call and answer some one-on-one questions with the members there. But I appreciate you doing this. It's always a pleasure when we get to spend some time together, man.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right,
folks, that's Chuck Thokey. Make sure to reach out to this guy. I'm telling you, if you are struggling with sales, with retail sales, whatever sales it is that you're trying to get done, building sales teams, sales management, training, becoming the best, this guy has trained with the best. And by that, I mean the ones that make the most money. Okay. Let's just be real. These guys have, he's got an amazing resume. He's helping contractors all over the nation. One of our members in Revolt brought his name up a few weeks ago and was like, hey, well, he just managed, he talked about one of Chuck's clients. And I said, you know what? I know the guy. We're going to bring him in because he's going to help you. And that's what we do in Revolt, is we help these guys succeed and become the best that they can be in whatever area that they're struggling with. So if you want to be a part of Revolt, if you want to grow your business and scale, check it out. Send us a message and we'll give you all the details. I'm sure Brandon will be happy to tell you all about it and get you set up. But it's one of the best things in our industry to help you grow as a person, as a professional, and become the best roofing contractor that there is. And not just that, but we're taking it in a whole new direction. This is the new school of roofing. This is not the old school of roofing. We have changed. We're basically rewriting the playbook, and that's what RoofCon is all about. We are becoming, we're taking and building in what is the next evolution of roofing in this industry. So make sure to check it out. Check out Revolt. Ask us about it. Otherwise, RoofCon's coming up in October. If you haven't gotten tickets yet, look it up as well. Go to roofcon.com for all that information. But otherwise, guys, thank you for watching today. Next Tuesday night, we're going to be back on again at 6 p.m. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a great show. Hope everyone has an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good night.